I don't really make a living as a comedian, if you can't tell. Actually, believe it or not, I'm a mathematician by education. I actually crunch numbers. What did you talk about? Well, one of the things...
She used the numbers in the brains. The muscles. She's going to talk about some polling work.
As many of you may know, we had a bill. It's still in play right now. But we had a bill in the legislature called SB116. And SB116, yes, SB116 would allow us to have concealed carry. We call it constitutional carry because we believe that it's a constitutional right to be able to carry a means of self-defense without having to get permission from the government. And what SB 116 is it would make us more like Vermont. In other words, as long as you weren't prohibited by federal law from owning a firearm, you could carry one without having to get a permit from your local police. We have found that the local police are fairly random or arbitrary about denying or allowing permits. And as a result, New Hampshire really isn't the shall issue state that we think it is. It's a may issue. Your local police may issue your permit unless, of course, they don't like you or they don't like your politics or they don't like your haircut or whatever they don't like. So we did a poll. Susan and I did a poll some time ago. We were commissioned to do a poll on what people thought about SB 116. And it turned out that 71% of the people we polled believe that the police chief should not control the permitting process. This was really a dramatic outcome because the governor has been claiming that people really wanted permitting, and all of a sudden she gets a poll in her face that says, no, people really don't. Only 29% of people thought that that was reasonable, given how police chiefs can be arbitrary about their decisions. We also had some other ones. Do you remember how those went?
One of the other questions that we asked was about the history of New Hampshire's pistol licensing program, which goes back to 1923, believe it or not, following strikes at the Amoskeag Mill, of all places in the world. After World War I, the economic downturn was shifting northern manufacturing to the south because they could produce electricity on site and didn't need water-powered mills. Most of the people that were employed at the Amoskeag Mills were foreign-born, unnaturalized citizens. They weren't illegal aliens. Most of them had come through Ellis Island or Hampton Roads or places like that, and they had been actively sought and recruited to work at the Amoskeag Mills. Well, during this economic downturn, their hours were being increased and their pay was being cut back, and they didn't much care for that. And while I'm not a fan necessarily of unions, a group out of Massachusetts, the United Textile Workers, came in to try and help out these 17,000 people who had been brought to New Hampshire by the guys in Concord and the guys in Manchester to do their work. The strike went on for 9 months, believe it or not. And an awful lot of these people nearly lost their homes, they lost a lot of their possessions, they were having trouble paying their bills, and they started to frighten the folks in Concord. So the governor, Fred Brown, a Democrat, and the New Hampshire legislature at the time passed and enacted a law that automatically made foreign-born, unnaturalized, not illegal, foreign-born, unnaturalized citizens the equivalent of felons, period. They could never own a firearm. Anyone else, a normal New Hampshire citizen like you or me, we could, but we had to ask permission from our local police chief, and the local police chief had to decide whether we were suitable. For almost 100 years, the term suitable has remained undefined in statute. And suitable has been taken to court, it's been abused by local law enforcement. As Emily said, they could say you're not suitable because you're a girl, or you're wearing a Boston Red Sox hat, or you're a Navy veteran. So we sought to change that, and in the polling questions, there were a total of 6, we said, if you realized the history of this bill was state-sanctioned discrimination, which is still on the books, would you want Governor Hassan to sign the bill and eliminate this. 74 people said yes. 74, that's right, 74%. Yeah, a lot of people made a lot of phone calls. But she ignored it, and the reason she ignored it is because they do not want to have a discussion about discrimination. Democrats love minorities. Democrats love women. Democrats love anybody who thinks that they're a minority. But this is all about discrimination against minorities, and the governor won't have the discussion. She's refused to meet with us. She shut down her email address. She quit taking phone calls, and she gave us a big raspberry on the veto. So on the 16th of September, we're going to try to override that veto. And we need everybody's help on that. Yeah, we do need help on that. But we also did another, we call it Haggy Masson poll, which was on the budget veto. And the results on that, which I don't have with me, I'm afraid, they have not been released. Well, they're going to be. So asking about understanding why the governor vetoed the bill and why she should not have vetoed the budget. That will be up also on the 16th. So Emily and I do all sorts of things, from events to firearms to just generally causing trouble. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Federal firearms laws that were passed in 1968 state very clear there are 19 prohibitors that say if you are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the 18, you are prohibited by federal and state law from owning a firearm. You must attest to that. Oh, she did. Oh, yeah. Good. Bye. Thanks.
Croc TV.